A 3-year-old girl tried to make food by placing a flatbread over an open flame, but the flatbread slowly caught fire. She naively tried to blow it out with her mouth. After the attempt failed, she walked away in fear, but forgot to turn off the gas valve. Next, she opened the microwave and put another piece of flatbread inside. Pressing buttons randomly, she accidentally set it for 10 minutes. Unfortunately, the bread was quickly burned to charcoal, so she hurried to her mother, trying to seek her help. No matter how she patted her mother's cheeks, she got no response. Then she went to find her father for help, but he had already left for work. The kitchen faucet was also left running, and terrifyingly, there were exposed wires from a power strip on the floor. Deadly danger was silently brewing. Soon she returned to her mother's side and continued shaking her. Suddenly, a bottle of pills slipped from her mother's hand. Her mother had committed suicide by taking sleeping pills. She picked up the pills one by one, putting them back in the bottle, and asked her mother if she could eat them. Fortunately, a ringing phone on the bookshelf caught her attention. She struggled to climb onto a stool but accidentally dropped the phone under the desk. The call connected by accident, and on the other end was her father's angry scolding. No matter how hard the girl tried, she couldn't reach the phone. Soon, the call was hung up. At that moment, an iron that had been working on the table for a long time was smoking. Luckily, she noticed it and pulled away the clothes being ironed. But out of curiosity, she touched it with her hand. The instant pain made her collapse on her mother, crying loudly for comfort, completely unaware that her mother had left forever. Exhausted, she fell asleep while crying. Soon, she was awakened by hunger again. She opened the refrigerator door and took out last night's birthday cake to eat. After having her fill, she playfully threw the things out and climbed into the fridge. When the refrigerator door closed, she was trapped inside. As the temperature dropped lower and lower, she began struggling desperately. Fortunately, she eventually managed to open the door and escape. But at that moment, the room was filled with danger. The faucet continued flowing water that was about to reach the power strip, while the gas stove flame kept burning. Suddenly, the sound of garbage collection came from outside the door. Hearing this, the girl quickly ran to the entrance, but the workers left because no one responded, causing her to miss her only chance of rescue. Worried that her mother was hungry, she thoughtfully brought food to her mother's mouth, but still received no response from her mother. Suddenly, the phone under the desk rang again. This time she used a ruler to hook out the phone. When her father asked what her mother was doing, the girl said her mother was resting. However, her father hung up because he had to board a plane. Then she ran outside with her toy, but the toy's cord got tangled around the table leg. As she ran away, she bumped into the table. The already unstable iron fell down, and then the tablecloth began smoking. She sat on the sofa, absorbed in watching TV. At that moment, the house suddenly lost power. She tried to fix it behind the TV like her father would. Facing the tangled wires, she was helpless. Suddenly, the neighbors' arguing voices came through, and she pressed her ear to the door crack to listen. The next moment, power was restored, and exhausted, she fell asleep holding her doll. The next second, an overheating explosion occurred because the electrical switches hadn't been turned off earlier. The girl was startled awake. Soon her father called again, this time finally apologizing calmly. He admitted he shouldn't have hit anyone and promised to come home and apologize in person, but it was all too late. This time the girl still said her mother was resting, which finally made her father realize something was wrong. So he immediately rushed to the airport and tried to comfort his daughter by telling her fairy tales over the phone, but the girl still accidentally hung up. Then she brought snacks to her mother, with sleeping pills mixed in among them. So she held up the sleeping pills and asked her mother about them. But seeing that her mother still ignored her, she thought it was tacit permission. Then she unhesitatingly picked up the pills and put them in her mouth. 1, 2, 3. After an unknown amount of time, she lay on the ground gradually losing consciousness. Her father's phone rang desperately again, but the girl was too weak to answer. Her eyelids closed heavily. Night fell, thick smoke filled the room. The father, who had rushed back desperately, faced his wife's cold corpse, frantically shouting his daughter's name. Suddenly, a weak response from the girl came from under the bed, but this was just a hallucination from the father's breaking point.